Hey guys, it's Konquerer-K from the Iron Paladins. This video is a little bit different. Today we're going to be talking about something that I have personally wanted in the game for some time now, and that is For Honor raids. The game, or the devs have been a bit silent as of recently, and as you are aware, the new hero, the Viking, will be coming out soon. But I just thought it'd be cool to just go over some ideas that I'm sure the rest of the community are interested in. You'd probably question how would you go about this, something like that, along those lines. What I would do is, and I'm going to be referencing games that do have raids, stuff like Destiny 2, personally, because I have played those games and I kind of have an idea of how you can interpret something similar in For Honor that would work. So first I would go over, because I've got a few points at how you'd go about it. So what I would do is, obviously, for fighting bosses, so the bosses would be difficult, and they would require teamwork based things with like puzzles and things like that you'd have to do in order to defeat the boss. And in a raid, or For Honor raid, I would have at least 3 bosses, at least, maybe 4, but obviously have like things like puzzles in between. Each boss will have its own unique, puzzle that you'd have to solve and do. And that could be things like, there's 2 special enemies you have to kill to break the main boss's shield, then you can do damage to it. Or something that I thought would be a cool idea, which is, so you have because they have all these different things like the tribute banners, all these different mechanics, like picking up stuff to get buffs, things like that, and they could interpret that into mechanics to defeat bosses and stuff. I've got a few ideas where you have one person that would enter this room to fight the main boss, whilst everyone else is outside this room, and they have to run around and stuff. And there's a timer to how long the guy inside can deal damage. And when you when one of the other people on the outside kill an enemy, then it increases the timer, but the timer can only stack up to, I don't know, let's say 3 times. So you get 3 times to do it. And you could also do something, and we could, go further with that, and say that you could only have you take it in turns, dealing damage to the boss, so that one person can't go in that room to fight the main boss, twice, otherwise everyone dies or something, just like a wipe mechanic or something like that. So that's going over, things like boss mechanics and how many bosses, fighting bosses, stuff like that. So, and completing puzzles, you could, so you'd have to proceed to the next area where you fight the next boss, you'd have to complete the puzzle, and that could be things like, placing banners in a certain order, things like that. But then you have all these enemies that are trying to kill you at the same time. I wonder if any of you can remember the wolves that are in the game, that are in the campaign, and I thought that was a great idea, but they kind of left them, they were only in one mission, and that was it, and they kind of got dropped. But, they could do things like bring old enemies back from the campaign and stuff like that. I think that would be a really cool thing, to add, just bring back, because they've got so many different enemies in the game, and they could just use those. And then sure, they can make new enemies for the raid, because it'd be like a new event. It makes sense, but they've got all these different mechanics, and they could have checkpoints. So say, for instance, after you defeat a boss, you get the checkpoint of defeating that boss, so if everyone dies, you won't have to fight that again, so there's progress. And different locations, so for instance, you start in one place, and then by the end of it, you're in some other area, like it looks progressive, like as you go into it, so the players feel like they're going somewhere, because there's no people are gonna not be interested if they're always feeling like they're in the same place each time. You know, you want to see progression. That's something that other games have, like Destiny, and that is actually going back to the boss mechanics. So I am going to be referencing a few different things because, like in Destiny, they have things where you have to step on a plate in certain, you know, there's like these pictures of banners in the middle, and there's pictures of these banners above each plate on the outside, and you basically want to stand on the plate that doesn't have the banners that are in the middle, and they change after each damage phase. So things like that. Obviously you can't shoot in For Honor, but you can do things because they've got you've got your melee combat things, so you know it could still, stuff like that can still work. But anyway, so level powers. I would say that because it's kind of like an end game event, the legendary gear, so kind of like the arcade thing, the power level for the really hard arcade. I believe they lowered it recently, and now it's just like extremely easy. But I would make it, you know, you got to be about Prestige 8 to get guaranteed legendary armor. So I would say, I think the max is 180, so 170, you know, something like that, something to make it seem difficult, a challenge, so it's more, you know, rewarding, and loot drops, things like that. So For Honor has its own thing where after you've completed the game, you are rewarded with stuff after. I would prefer it if, when after each, you know, completion of a phase, you at least get like something in your left in, you know, your kill feed that says, you know, you have got something, you know, just so people don't feel like they're getting nothing. I would also interpret things like, there's a game, my own little game mode thing that I kind of made up, whereas after you've defeated the final boss, so you're in a room that's basically like, I don't know, you could say a treasure hall or something, and you'll press something or hold a button and it will enter it into, you know, it'll say in your bottom, in your kill feed area, you know, you have collected the stuff, and then there'll be a timer where you basically have to escape to the exit, kind of the same way you came in or something, or maybe a different way, and then like hordes of enemies are coming in and you're timed, and if you fail, then you would have to fight the final boss again or something like that. So there's a bit of a penalty, you know, more of an incentive, you know, I want to escape on the first try instead of not really worrying, because if you fail, you know, you just got to run it again. For people who are interested in lore, they could add lore into the raids, just like they have in a story where, you know, there was different things that you could go over and click a button and then it would, Apollyon would give you like a little description of some sorts, so they could do that. Another thing that I think would be awesome is if they added in a feature where if you killed the last boss, or so say everyone's attacking the last boss, the person who gets the final hit on the boss, it will trigger a cutscene when you kill the boss, but the person who gets the final hit will see themselves in a cutscene for everybody else to see. So it's an incentive for that person to get the final kill, because everyone will see that person get the final blow in the cutscene. They want to see themselves in the cutscene, so they want to get the final hit. So it's a little bit of an incentive to do that, and it's just a nice, cool feature. I did make my own cutscene thing or concept idea of that on Dreams, which I'm going to show you now. It's really short, but I took a lot of time into making it. So without further ado, I will show you that, and then we'll speak after. I hope you enjoyed the little showing. It took a while to make and to pick up how to make it. It's on Dreams, so if any of you are interested in, you know, more stuff like that, then let me know in the comments. I'm sure I can make a few more videos on it because I'm quite enjoying it. But this isn't about that, so we'll continue with the rest of the video. So things like worlds first, I think it'd be quite difficult for them to do that, but if they could, because I know, you know, Ubisoft have made games like Division and they have like worlds first raids, you know, they can, and that's another thing, they can, it's all one big company, right, so they can still go to each other for, you know, different tips and things, I'm sure. So worlds first, they could do things like exclusive banner things, you know, the little plates that go around your faction. That's a little bit small, but they could also do things like effects. That would be a lot better, stuff like that. Another major thing I'd like to say is loot from the raid. If they did do a raid, exclusive raid loot would be great. And when I mean exclusive loot, I mean things like armor sets for each individual character, stuff that makes you want to chase it, and stuff that you can't just get from doing normal matches. So it's exclusive to that. It could also include, you know, things like effects, executions even. That would be awesome. It's something that makes you really want to go into the raid, something that makes it a replayable experience. Another thing I would do is, if I was them, is because they have things like all these crazy mythics and masks and stuff like that, or I think they're called illustral or something. I can't remember what they're called now. Things like that, they have crazy. So why not just take it a step further, because they're already going, you know, mad with these ideas and they're awesome. But why not just take that with the armor and the raids, like the bosses? Like, I had a crazy idea, concept, that I did have it all drawn out and stuff, but unfortunately I can't show you because I was unable to put it onto the video so I could add it, because it wasn't compatible or something with the lighting and stuff, because it was all obviously all drawn out and that. But they could do things like, they have all these different crazy masks, like the Vikings have, what's it called, Nidhogg or something, the dragon that eats the world tree, I believe. So they can have, and then there's the new Viking hero that's supposed to be like all serpent stuff, and they could do something like you fight a crazy water dragon thing, and what that could do is that, because obviously it's a concept of a certain, you know, the raid is about, you know, serpents and stuff, so the monsters could, the people that you could fight, it could be like a cult that worships these monsters. You know, I'm just brainstorming here. So all the bosses could be, you know, serpent related, and that would mean that all the armor sets are serpent related. Something that makes them stand out above the rest, you know, something like why you would want to chase it, because for one, they've gone completely insane, and I don't know, the Warden helmet's like a giant serpent, like, kind of, it's a serpent featured like mask or helmet, and they could do that with the rest of things, like you have giant like serpent head shoulder blades and stuff like that. So crazy things like that. But I think that's all the points that I wanted to go over, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a lot different to what we would usually do, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave comments down below on your thoughts and what you would like to see in For Honor. I'd love to read them and see what you guys would think of my idea, at least, and things like that. If you guys are interested in Dreams, again, let me know in the comments if you want to see more Dreams videos. And if you're interested in that, I want to just quickly say that it's a PlayStation exclusive, so unfortunately Xbox PC don't actually have access to it. It's really easy to pick up. I've got a few streams of me actually making the cutscene on the YouTube channel at the moment if you wanted to check them out, kind of see how I made it and stuff. I go over, you know, the cameras, the setting, the lighting, stuff like that, and the timeline, because it's in one moving animation, if you're interested in stuff like that. But thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next video.